Wildcats of Wilmington High School football. Today's game is a beautiful day for football. Driving rain, about 30-mile wind gusts. Chris Neville here along with Jim Boyle will be covering the game today for the Wildcats playing Lynn Classical. Both teams come in the consolation bracket. Jim, Wildcats got beat up pretty bad last week.
Last week, Stoneham took them to the woodshed, and they ended up their regular season 3-4. Lynn Classical comes in at 4-3. This is just going to be a simple exercise of who can hold on to the ball and who can run the ball better today.
Watching some highlights of the Lynn Classical season, they have an equally tough team, especially on defense. So Wildcats have their hands full today. We'll be back with the opening kickoff of today's game right after this.
WCTV's coverage of Wildcat football this fall is sponsored by Align Credit Union. Not only focused on personal and business banking, Align is a community credit union participating in events throughout the region. Located next to Lucci's and also at aligncu.com. Align Credit Union, connecting all your banking needs.
Good afternoon again, everybody. Welcome to Wilmington High School's Alumni Field. Chris Neville, Jim Boyle here, along with Adam Dusenberry, our producer-director, and George Breslin on camera. First game of the consolation bracket. The Wilmington Wildcats come in with a record of 3-4, kicking off today against Lynn Classical. Jim, from what I've seen so far, the record for Classical is kind of not really an indication of how they played this year.
Yeah, they were in 4-3, but had four very dominant wins, and the three losses were a little bit closer than the wins were. And again, this will be interesting because Wilmington deferred and will kick off with the wind behind their back. It's going to be an interesting game because the wind's blowing hard left to right here.
Okay, Kyle Bishop ready to kick off at Wilmington, the 40-yard line. Chase Buono is one of the backmen. It's a quick squib kick. The weather's already having an impact in the game here today.
It's an original Wilmington kickoff. They just squib it. They perfected that one.
Classical
so far
has the ball at their own 45-yard line. They come out with a very big offensive line and some very good skill position players. Quarterback is Keith Ridley, quarterback and offensive captain, also a defensive end on the other side of the football. So 1st and 10 for Classical. And we'll see if Wilmington can hold up a little better than they did against a very potent Stoneham offense last week. Man in motion, number 4 gets the pitch. That's Nashawn Butler. He's around the right end for his big running room down the right sideline. Cuts back at the 30. Wildcat still in pursuit. He's still going. He's brought down inside the 25-yard line.
Same play that gave him trouble last week against Stoneham. A little pitch to the wing back coming across.
So an inauspicious stop for the Wildcats on their first play on defense.
Also without 43 Bailey Smith today, who had a hand injury, and so he will not be playing today. So that's one of their linebackers is missing. So see if they can make up for that loss.
Single setback in the backfield is Marcus Tucker. He takes the handoff and he's going to be stopped. Thrown back after a gain of about a yard or two.
Good work by the defensive line there to stuff that run.
Marcus Tucker on the carry. Carry's good for getting 2. Tackling play by Wilmington is number 22, Joe. Dominic to Monaco.
So it's going to be 2nd and 8. Once again, Tucker in the backfield with Ridley at quarterback. Ridley holds the ball, throws it downfield. Intended and incomplete down in the end zone. Intended for Nashawn Butler.
Nice ball into the wind there by the quarterback. Dropped by the wide receiver there. Not a bad call though. Let's see what they do. They show they're not afraid to throw the ball here with the wind. So
3 wide right on the right to the left. 1 receiver on the far outside on the right. 3rd and 8. Pass to the right is complete and brought down on the tackle by Peter Marino, but I think it's going to be close to a first down over there. They may need a measurement.
4th down. Soft coverage there by Marino out on the left side. Didn't want to give up the touchdown.
Well, they're
Big
gonna give him
play here.
a 4th down and less than a yard to go, and 4th and 10 for Wilmington.
4th and 10.
Once again, Ridley's in a shotgun formation with the single running back, Marcus Tucker, number 5. Big situation for the Wildcats. He keeps the ball after a fake handoff, and he's
untouched in for a touchdown.
In for a touchdown. Yeah, it was kind of like everybody stopped pursuit on the play. So I think it was an 11 or 12-yard touchdown run by the quarterback, Keith Ridley, and
Ridley's size is going to give us trouble all night, too. Big
Rams are going
quarterback.
for a 2-point conversion here on the extra point. Direct snap to number 54. That's Dennis Pierce, usually an offensive lineman, and he takes it in for a successful 2-point conversion. And with only 2 minutes into the game, Classical jumps out to a quick 8-0 lead.
And Classical looks to really go right side. Must be right side dominant with their offensive line, and destroyed Wilmington's defense going right. The only time they went left was when they threw the pass over here down to the corner of the end zone. So again, deep in the hole early here on a miserable day at the in Wilmington.
Very small crowd on hand. I would say maybe about 40 people so far in the stands. Players far outnumber the.
We'll hand count them at halftime for you.
Yeah.
Actually, we'll send Adam out and count for us. Okay, this kick will go into the wind too. Let's see what happens. Should give Wilmington some good field position.
Kind of a surprise that Classical started throwing the ball in their first series of downs.
They must feel confident. Like I said, the Ridley, a big quarterback.
It's like the kicker for the Rams is Nashawn Butler, number 4. Another squib kick downfield, recovered by one of the Wildcat up men at the 40-yard line.
22.
Joe DeMonico in on the recovery for the Wildcats, so they'll take over for their first series of downs here in the first quarter at the 40-yard line.
Again, with the wind and the rain, we would think that we'll try to establish Pete Marino's as our running back here, not throw the ball as much. Try to keep the ball dry. Looks like it's going to be a pretty big defensive line we'll be going up against here as well. So see how our offensive line can do first drive.
Some of the highlights that I did see, as you say, they're big, they're strong, and they made running very difficult for most of their opponents this year. So a little delay on the play on the field.
Ford's been taken off the field for unknown reason.
Sullivan in a standard formation hands off 2 running backs in the backfield to Peter Marino, who stopped for a loss of a couple of yards on the play.
Looks like we're in the I formation here for the first time all year, abandoning the spread with the wind and the rain. Maybe try to pummel them with our running game. It's imperative there out of the eye. The fullback gets through the hole quick. We didn't see that happening in that play.
Handoff up the middle again.
Marino.
No gain, maybe another loss of a yard or so. Gang tackled by the middle on the left side of the defensive line for the Rams.
So they're set up here in the I, straight I formation. 41 is Steven Smolinski in the fullback role with Peter Marino behind him. It's the up back of the I. Again, 2 times try to run against this bulky defensive line and 2 unsuccessful attempts. Now, we do have the wind at our back, so a passing play here might be successful if we can do a nice short, crisp pass. Try to pick up the first down.
Okay, so Marino alone in the backfield again with Sullivan. It's like Kenyon is in the right scat back position. Picked up, a fumble picked up by number 22 of the Rams, and he's going to run it into the end zone for a touchdown. Maurice Segura picked up a botched snap to the quarterback, and things are not looking good for the Wildcats early today, Jim.
The Wildcats are looking about as good as the weather. And that is not too good today. Again, that snap, a little bit of high snap on the shotgun snap that Sullivan couldn't contain. Went down to try to pick it up. It bounced away, and they were unfortunately for the Wildcats, unfortunate for Lynn. Right place, right time, touchdown, down 14 or right now 14-0.
Another 2-point conversion attempt. Again, the direct snap, and once again the running back, the lineman.
54.
Number 54, Dennis Pierce, scampers into the end zone, basically untouched, and we're up to a quick 16-0 lead for Classical. And probably right about now, I'm thinking I'm glad we're not going live.
And also, not only that, we've run 3 plays. We're down 16-0.
Yeah. 7:28 to go in the first quarter.
So Classical, I think, is the only team with an above 500 record that did not make the tournament playoffs as well. So it's not. Wasn't going to come in being an easy matchup for the Wildcats. Classical's a division higher, but we would hope to at least come out here and put some kind of a much better performance on. So we'll see what they can do again. He's got all his hands guys up front, basically all across the board here. Marino is right in the middle of the action here, just in case they do the squib kick. To try
Clark goes back at the 16-yard line for the Wildcats. I did talk to athletic director Tim Alberts before the game, and he said Classical belonged in this tournament, in the playoff tournament this year. Certainly at the top of the
so they got
top of the rankings here.
Just so we know, they got Benoit, Marino, Marquardt, Kenyon. I can't tell who the other two are right up the top, and then we fumbled the kick.
And
Smolinski.
on the onside kick, once again, Classicals recovered that at the 48-yard line of the Wildcats. And we have a blowout on our hands here early in the first quarter.
The coach made a good assumption there that they would onside kick that, so he had his hands team, and that ball just bounced up off Smolinski's face mask, recovered by Lynn Classical. And this is getting even now uglier than the weather.
So Ridley at quarterback. Hand off up the middle. Another quick hitter on the right side, and he's stopped for a short gain. That's Marcus Tucker. Second and about 9 yards to go.
That ball was loose, too. Lynn Classical recovered their own fumble.
Ridley stands at his own 48-yard line. Calls signals. 2nd and 9. Back to pass. Lets the ball deep downfield on the right side. Marino in the coverage, and he almost had it for an interception. Incomplete, not out of bounds at the 14-yard line. Going to bring up 3rd and 9.
Good man-to-man coverage by Peter Marino Jr. out there on the receiver. They were looking that way all the way. We're sitting up here in the press box. I could hear the coaches to my right call out, watch out for 22. And Marino on man-to-man coverage with a good stop.
Yeah, nobody out there with him. That was all on him on that play.
It's like the same setup.
Pass out to the right side, and Kyle Kenyon makes sure that the Rams don't get any farther on this drive. They stops the receiver at the 47-yard line. Good tackle.
Good tackle on the money down by Kyle Kenyon. Let's see what Classical with the 16-0 lead. I would imagine they'll go for it here going into the wind. Try to make their quarterback make a play. Big opportunity for Wilmington to turn the tide just a little bit. They're going to go man-to-man coverage, too.
Wilmington calls timeout on the sideline. Coach Turner probably a little worried about some kind of trickery.
Correct.
On the side of the Rams. So,
and the Rams have no issues here going for up 16-0. We're only 6 minutes to play here in the first quarter. Again, a big play call here defensively for the Wildcats. Try to keep them in the game, stop Hero, give them relatively good field position.
Mentioned a couple times during the previous broadcasts, Wilmington Community Television is looking for volunteers, especially students, to help out with some of the fall and winter sports broadcasts. Love to get your kids on the air, whether it be youth or adults or parents, grandparents, anybody can come down, videotape, call the games trying to get as much of this activity on local cable access as we can.
And don't be afraid of it. It's not that hard to do.
If we can do it, anybody can do it.
Well, no, I don't know if I can do it. Anybody can do it. Chris is the pro at this stuff.
So 4th and 16 for the Rams. They're at their own 47-yard line. Ridley in the backfield. Goes back to pass. Pass rush closes. Passes. It's going to be incomplete. Intended for Nashawn Butler down the middle of the field. He got his hands on it, bobbled it. Fortunately, it dropped, and the Wildcats are going to take over in good field position here.
Get the ball on their side of the field. I think Andrew Sullivan defensively on that play. Quarterback had to throw a little bit over top, a little overthrown. Defense was underneath. So 1st and 10. See if they can do something.
So Andy Sullivan comes out at quarterback after a disappointing first series. 16-0 early in the first quarter.
Yeah.
5:40 to go. Sullivan hands off to Marino, who goes to the left, cuts back, and he's knocked down after gain of a yard. Slipped on the turf.
It's going to be tough sledding out there for Peter Marino Jr. today. See if again, see if they can open up some holes for him. You know, again, they do have the wind at their back. So if they're going to throw in the first half, it's going to have to be over the next 5 minutes. Although Lynn Classical is not afraid to throw the football into the wind.
No standing water in the field, but it looks like it could be some slippery going out there for the athletes as they try to cut back.
Back into the spread offense, Chris.
Inside handoff to Marino. There's 3 guys on him right away just as he takes the handoff. It's going to be a loss of 5 yards for the Wildcats.
Marino's a little shaken up coming up.
Yeah.
Checking him out. Looks like he's going to be okay. Again, that was the. It looked like linebackers.
Yeah, Peter's not a big kid, but I think 2 or 3 of the kids that hit him are all much bigger than him in the backfield. So
it's a big 3rd down play.
So Marquardt comes in. Split wide to the right. Sullivan throws it backwards. That's a lateral, and it's recovered by Marquardt at the 40-yard line. So there's going to be a loss of another 10 yards, or about another 10 yards.
Let's see if they decide to go for it or punt here. It looks like they'll punt again. Wind behind the back. That ball looked like it slipped right out of Sullivan's hands. Marquardt with a good, smart, heady play that would fall on top of the football instead of trying to pick it up.
The intent looks like it was going to be a lateral pass out to the, maybe a forward pass, but the ball went backwards after it got into the wind.
Fumbles recovered by Jason Marquardt. 4th down and 22 for the Wildcats.
Robar's into punt.
Gets the ball away. A good end over end kick. Going to bounce at the 20, and it's going to be covered by the Wildcats inside the 15. It's still rolling. And we'll go down to the 10-yard line where the Wildcats pick up the ball there. So Lynn Classical will take over the ball just outside their own 10-yard line with 3:55 to go in the first quarter.
I think that's like almost like a 46-yard punt for Robar's, one of the better punts we've seen all year. So again, it spots them back deep into their territory.
So Ridley is in quarterback, and from my perspective, I can't see much through the windows here. So I'll know if he's got it in his hand. The man is in motion. The pitch is to him, number 4, Butler on the right side, who finds some running room down the right sideline.
Coming back.
Wide open. There's a flag on the play.
2 flags.
Butler on the carry. There are 2 flags down the play. Penalty be holding against Lynn Classical.
So a good break for the Wildcats. Going to probably bring the ball back half the distance to the goal. That play has already worked once so far for Classical.
And again, Classical's found something on the right side of our right side of their offensive line, left side of our defense, and they've done a good job exploiting that advantage.
1st down, 15, their own 5-yard line.
I would say they're probably running away from Kyle Kenyon, who's on the defensive right end of the Wildcats. So 1st and a little over 15. Ridley calls signals. Inside handoff. Stopped in the backfield
Nope,
by
quarterback
Dean.
picked it.
Oh, wrong call. Told you it was hard to see up here. He kept the ball all the way out to the 28-yard line. I will say, Dean Nally made a great tackle on the running back who did not have the ball.
That's correct.
He
Again,
knocked him down for a big loss.
So this is another play again. Another quarterback here. That's another big physical quarterback.
Handoff up the middle. Some running room. Like Jared Venezia ran on the tackle. He grabbed a hold of the running back, stopped him after a gain of about 5 yards. Out to the 34-yard line.
Lynn Classical going quick here.
Cameron Green, a co-captain. He's out split on the left side. Ridley, inside handoff, stopped. Actually, he faked the handoff.
He pulled it back.
And he was actually sacked for a loss on the play back to the 30-yard line.
We're dealing with tough visibility here up in the booth today, as we have the window open for the camera, but that causes the window to be double paned on us, and it's very hard to see what's going on.
So 3rd and 8 for the Classical Rams. 3 wide receivers split out to the left. There's an illegal procedure play against Lynn Classical. They're going to bring the ball back another 5 yards.
5-yard penalty. 3rd down, 13.
So 3rd and 14.
Again, sloppy play offensively here in this set for Classical.
Pat McAndrew hustles off the field. Ridley calls signals. Back to pass, lets it go deep down the right sideline again. This time Marino's in good coverage once again. It falls incomplete.
Good man-to-man coverage.
Step by step all the way out.
Turned a little bit late, but if he had turned a little early, he probably would have intercepted that pass too. But very good man-to-man coverage by Peter Marino.
So fourth down for the Rams. They'll be punting. And once again, Connor Benoit is going to be back deep for the Wildcats. Still into the wind, so we'll see if the Wildcats can get good field position here.
So they go for the punt block here. Wet ball, high snap. Bad kick, it's going to roll though.
Kick will be down by Classical at the 47.5-yard line of the Wildcats, so that's where they'll take over their 3rd series of the first quarter.
Almost an opportunity for 22 Dominic Dominic DeMonico to block that. He's just half a step short on the high snap. Again, Wilmington, great field position. Start the drive. Wind is picking up. I think it might have been Joey DeMonico. I think we have 2 different numbers here. On the booklet, I've got Dominic DeMonico 22. On the sheet that's handed out by the athletic department, we have Joey DeMonico as number 22.
So Wildcats
the wind is really picking
take
up
over
here
now
too.
at their 47-yard line. Marino again in the single setback behind Sullivan. High snap. Sullivan sprints out. Passes complete to Kenyon at the 50. He's inside the 45, still going. Good game by Kyle Kenyon down to the 42-yard line. Close to a first down. Actually, he's got a first down. Gain of 11.
Good positive play. Start this drive.
That was the play that would have been open quite a few times last week too, Jim,
Correct.
from what I can remember against the Stone team. And a lot of times those passes did not click. But Kyle caught it after about a 2-yard pass, and then the rest of it was done on his own.
And that should also loosen up the running lanes for Marino if we get a chance.
Sullivan handoff again to Marino, who once again for the 3rd or 4th time today has been thrown for a loss. Loss of 4 yards back to the 46-yard line.
Offensive line is not getting initial contact or any push. This is definitely the defensive line of Lynn Classical's dominating the line of scrimmage.
Tristan Champa now comes in at the quarterback position. Actually, no, he's just switching out the ball. Sullivan will remain in there.
I said the wind picking up.
I'm not sure if you can see it on the TV screen, but it's basically the rain is blowing left to right. And the Wildcats, if they don't take advantage of it now, I think it's going to be tough sailing in the second quarter here, Jim.
Well, they're not going to, because we're going to come to the end of the quarter here.
So, timeout after the first quarter of action. So far, the Wildcats are struggling, but Lynn Classical 16, Wildcats nothing. We'll be back for the second quarter action right after this message from the Align Credit Union.
WCTV's coverage of Wildcat football this fall is sponsored by Align Credit Union. Not only focused on personal and business banking, Align is a community credit union participating in events throughout the region. Located next to Lucci's and also at aligncu.com. Align Credit Union, connecting all your banking needs.
So we're back for second quarter action, Wilmington High School's Alumni Field. Rainy, dreary day here. Wildcats second and 14 at the classical 46-yard line.
The good news is the officials are keeping this game moving on.
Peter Marino takes the pitch, and he's going to be stopped for another loss.
It's like
the loss of 4 yards.
It's like the fifth or sixth running play where the Lynn Classical defenders have been in the backfield, and Marino has absolutely no room to run.
Classical's the returning league champs, Northeastern League champs from last season, and from all indications that they still got a very good returning core of players, and they're going to be formidable foes for anybody they play for the rest of the season. Sullivan is back to pass, third and about 19. The pass is incomplete. He threw it up there intended for Marino, who was unable to reach the ball. It's going to bring up fourth down, and the Wildcats will be punting into the wind.
And they do choose the punt. That pass was, the play call was a nice play call, but with this wind, you really almost zipped that pass, and he put a little bit of air underneath it and caused him to let that ball fall incomplete.
He had blockers out in front of him, but couldn't quite reach it.
See if at some point they go back to that play or that Kenyon play they ran earlier in the series.
Robarge back to punt, stands just outside his 35-yard line. The snap is back. He fumbles the snap. He's got it. He starts to run with it, and he's tackled and picked up, and it's going to be recovered by the Rams inside the 25-yard line. A completely botched play from the get-go.
Another disaster on special teams for the Wildcats, which seems to be the story of the season.
Lynn Class will take over at the Wilmington 24-yard line.
Again, high snap, wet ball. A little bit of panic. He did try to kick it.
And just as he went to kick it, he was grabbed from behind by the defender, which left the ball out in space, recovered. Classical takes over to 29. Handoff is to number 4, Butler, who finds some running room now. He got hung up in the background, in the backfield. He's running inside the 10, and he's in for a touchdown after a scramble. No flags in the play. Another touchdown for the Classical Rams.
Again, stopped in the backfield. Some shifty moves. A couple of blocks off to the left side for a touchdown. Probably ran, what was that ball, like the 24-yard line. So a 24-yard touchdown run where he probably ran about 65 yards.
So once again, 2 forced errors by the Wildcats result in 2 touchdowns for Lynn Classical. Once again going for a 2-point conversion.
They run the exact same play.
And this time here, it
bad
snap.
No good. With 9:44 remaining in the second quarter, the score is Lynn Classical 22.
So 9:44 to go in the first quarter. Lynn Classical jumps out to a 22-0 lead.
Again, the turnover on the punt kills you. Not being able to stop the back in the backfield causes touchdown. Again, we have offense coming on the field to go into this wind. I think we have 1 first down in the first half so far. That was on the pass play to Kyle Kenyon. No running room for Peter Marino. So it's interesting to see what kind of play calling we'll do here. We'll see here. And again, Chris, once again, he's got his hands team up front. You know, so looks like he's got Marino, Marquardt. Can't even see through the window here. DeMonico, Smolinski. Benoit and one of those. So all the hands team guys up. Only one deep back.
Kyle Durant will be doing the kicking off. Lynn Classical. Once again, looks like Clerico is going to be back deep for the Wildcats at the 20. Another squib kick. This time it's recovered by the Wildcats at their own 48-yard line.
That was Jason Marquardt with a sat down, took it into the chest, and put it down on the floor. As again, he's coach has put his hands team in the whole kick return team is all hands, as they're not going to figure they're going to kick it deep. My guess is they don't have much of a kicker, as they've gone for 3 with their offensive linemen. Gone for 2, 3 times with their offensive linemen.
So we'll see if the Wildcats can start to generate any offense here as we march into the second quarter. Marquardt split wide to the left. Kenyon in the slot. Handoff to Benoit in the sweep. And he finds no running room. He's brought down for a loss of another 4 yards on the play back at the 45-yard line.
Play call makes sense there. The problem is the Lynn Classical player set the edge, and there was nowhere for Benoit to go. Definitely the lines of scrimmage are being dominated by Classical here.
Yeah, I think the offensive yardage for the Wildcats on the running game so far today is at least minus 25. And they continue to go backwards on the ground. Robaj splits out wide to the right. Anthony wide to the left. Clerico in the slot. Handoff to Marino once again, who finds no running room. Another loss of 3 yards. The Wildcats continue to go backwards. 3rd and 17.
75, I think, is like the nose tackle, the tackle there, and he's just completely dominating our offensive line. They're also getting good penetration off the corners from their smaller cornerbacks who are in the backfield as well.
John Fernandez, number 75 for Lynn Classical, is listed at over 300 pounds. Senior, both offensive and defensive lineman. Kind of hard to move when you're only weighing 160 pounds yourself. Sullivan sprints out to the right, lets the ball go. It's caught by Kenyon, who finds some running room. He's still going out to the 45-yard line of Lynn Classical. The ball was almost tipped by the defender.
Short pass, good hands on the wet ball by Kenyon. Turns upfield, picks up 10 yards.
So it's 4th and 5 for the Wildcats, 4th and 4.
Makes a much more manageable 4th down play here.
Marquardt brings the play into Andy Sullivan. I expected a running game on both sides, but I think Coach Turner is going to have to abandon it here, Jim, pretty soon.
Well, because we're getting no yardage running.
Marquardt, Benoit, and Kenyon all split left.
They were slow offsides. They didn't throw
Another
the flag
dropped
there.
Ball. There is
no flag on the play. It should have been. That'll turn the ball over on downs. It looked like we had an encroachment penalty on the left side of the Classical defense.
Rams take over.
The side judge didn't want to move his hands out of his pockets. Too cold. You know, if you throw a flag there, it's going to take us a little bit longer to get this half done.
7:14 to go in the first half. Classical takes over the ball at the 47-yard line.
You can't find me on the.
We got double wide receivers on each side of the ball. Ridley inside handoff, and this time he's stopped by the core of the defensive line, led by Dean Nally. Looks like Joe DeMonico in there as well.
Good penetration, defensive line there to blow that play up. Be important for their psyche to get a stop here.
Steve Smolinski in there as well. Once again, inside handoff. This time, some good running room, but he's stopped by the interior of the defensive line. Pat McAndrew on the tackle.
Yeah, good play by McAndrew there.
So the Wildcats defense is showing some signs of life. hurry-up offense by the Rams. Butler in the slot. Wide receiver out to the right is Maurice Sequeira. Inside handoff. See
Gets
if
the
Wildcats
edge.
can get over to the edge. He's dancing around. He's going to be,
Not stopping.
and he's got enough for a first down. Very slippery over there in that far sideline.
Now the irony of that play is Nally had it for a short gain on the tackle. He snuck through and Nally made the tackle after they got the first down. So Nally, even though he missed the first play in the tackle, he did hustle back to make the second hit to stop the running back from getting in more yards.
LaShawn Butler, the receiver, on the carry there. That's second or third time he's done that in today's game.
Quarterback keeper.
This time Ridley keeps it for himself. He's stopped for no gain, brought down.
Ridley tackle for a short loss by number 81, Kyle Kenyon. Be second down.
Smolinski and Kenyon in on the tackle. 2nd and 11. 5.5 minutes to go in the first half.
Strong side to the right side here.
3 wide receivers. Ridley back to pass. Lets the ball get. He's
Blocked.
actually hitting the
Picked up.
backfield. It's intercepted. Picked up by.
Oh. Oh. Is that Champion? No.
That's Jared Venezia, number
Venezia with a-
55.
Big turnover there. The guy got fumbled by. It looked like it was more of a fumble. I'm not sure.
Sack on the play by Kyle Kenyon, and a fumble recovered by number 55, Jared Venezia.
And
Wildcat touchdown.
Venezia rumbles 45 yards for the touchdown.
That was pretty good speed and movement for a big kid.
Could put pressure on the quarterback.
I think it surprised all of us up here in the booth that he was outrunning the defender. So the Wildcats are on the board now. 4:57 to go in the first half. They finally show some signs of life.
It looks like they'll go for 2. And see if they can try to get Sullivan moving instead of stationary in the pocket and try to avoid the rush.
Handoff is to
That's
Benoit,
Benoit. He looks like the edge.
who is in for the
Good job.
2-point conversion.
So the Wildcats here at the end of the half cut the lead to 22-8. Defensive touchdown on a fumble by the quarterback, pick up by Venezia. And then Connor Benoit on the sweep finds the edge and gets in. Looks like the rain's lighting up too.
Always looking on the positive side, Jim. That's
what
what
you
I
got
like
to do.
see.
You got a
Yep.
touchdown here, good kickoff. I'm sure this will be the Wilmington special. Scrib kick left. That's a Monty Python song. Always look on the bright side of life.
So the Wildcats show a little sign of life. Adam Bishop is ready to kick off the Wildcats now.
That's
Plants the ball sideways at the 40-yard line.
I have to admit I was wrong about the rain. It's now picking up. Wind's picking up as well. This will be a big kickoff here for the Wildcats. They can turn them over here, drive down again. You're back in the ball game.
Squib kick over toward the sideline, goes out of bounds.
That was not touched by number 5 there.
I don't think so.
No?
Went out of bounds at the 37-yard line. There'll be a penalty on top of that unless they ask the Wildcats to re-kick.
And I don't think they're going to do that.
Coach Brian Vaughn elects to take the ball where it sits with the 5-yard penalty. So Classic will take the ball over at about their own 42-yard line. 4:49 to go in the first half.
And again, Classical with a 22-8 lead. Last with a 22-0 lead, trying to throw the football here in the miserable weather. It cost them the defensive touchdown. Again, their strong side left.
Tucker is alone in the backfield, and there's going to be a timeout now as Classical calls timeout to switch a couple of players around. Dennis Pierce comes in to the guard position. I guess he was not on the field when they were ready to snap the ball. Ridley, one man in the backfield is Tucker. Hand off to Tucker up the middle, a big gaping hole down the middle of the field. He's running to the 30, to the 20, 10, and a touchdown. Marcus Tucker, 58-yard touchdown right up the middle. And I don't think any Wildcat put a hand on him.
Was not touched the whole way down the field.
So the Wildcats catch a break, pick up a loose ball, run it for a touchdown, and one play from scrimmage.
They immediately give it back.
Puts it right back on the board.
So let's see. Do you think 54 here will try to pass this two-point conversion? Or do you think he'll catch it and run right side, try to score?
54 is their co-captain. Dennis Pierce, offensive lineman, and he's once again back into the end zone. Kind of reminds you a little of William Refrigerator Perry back in the day, Jim.
It does. And then, of course, at least Refrigerator will get hit. This kid hasn't been hit much. That play has been run now 4 times, 3 times successfully, the exact same play.
And the only time it didn't work was when they dropped the ball. So we're up to Lynn Classical 30. Wildcats are sitting at 8, taking the kickoff now. Going into the wind as we continue the second quarter of play.
30-8, 4:32 to play. Again, the all-hands team will be up front.
This is really a third game in a row where the Wildcats have been manhandled by the other offense. Burlington beat them up pretty good a couple of weeks ago.
Stone
them last week.
And Classical this week.
And Classical's up to 30 points with still over 4 minutes to go in the first half. It's looking like Coach Turner really doesn't have the answer for some of these big, strong teams to be able to stop them.
Correct. Teams that are dominating us on the line of scrimmage. I think we have 1 first down. We've had a lot of trouble moving the football. You need to recover this onside kick.
So Kyle Durant ready to kick the ball off. It fell off the tee. Kind of an interesting positioning. This one here, the Wildcats fall on it again, recovered at the 38-yard line.
22 to Monaco.
Monaco recovers the kick. Always going to take over first and 10, throw 39.
So we'll see if we can generate some offense here. Hasn't been much on the offensive side of the ball for the Wildcats so far today.
Generate offense, run some clock, put some points on the board, get the kickoff second half, see what we can do. Again, weather conditions are less than ideal today. I've seen worse, but these are not ideal. With the wind and the rain and the wet ball, and now the rain is coming down even harder.
Another high snap to Sullivan. The pass is out to the side, intended for Marino, and it's going to be another sidewards pass lateral that actually went backwards. Recovered by Classical. They take over the ball again at the 30-yard line. That has not worked yet today, from what I can recall, Jim.
No, that's the second time that it became a lateral on a forward pass. Sullivan not waiting for Marino to clear. I think they want to go to the replay booth on this one.
I'm thinking that as we tape today's game, not a live coverage today, but we got a timeout on the field. But there is no replay.
I'm just kidding.
I think everybody stayed up last night and watched the Red Sox up until 3:30 in the morning. At least it looks like the Wildcats must have done it.
Yeah.
Because they're certainly not firing on many cylinders today.
No, especially since you're down 30-8 with 4:48 to play, or 4:18 to play first half, and the Classical has the ball on the 30 going in. I don't know what this break is for here, as we are getting pummeled with rain. I would expect the officials out there will try to keep this game moving as fast forward as they can. We got Adam up here keeping the water off, I think. It's the rain's in the booth.
Quick reminder, the Wilmington Rotary Auction is coming up in a couple of weeks, Friday night, November 16th. So if you have an opportunity that night, good opportunity to raise money for scholarships for Wilmington residents who are graduating from high school this year. Knights of Columbus Hall, doors open at 6 o'clock on November 16th. So Keith Ridley back at quarterback now. He is chased, and he's going to be taken down by Venessier. Nice play in the backfield. Some good pressure by the Wildcats on that finally.
Looks like he wants to work on his passing game in the wind and rain today.
Tyler Thomas disrupted him in the backfield. He kept the ball, started to run, and then Venessier was able to take him down with loss of 2 yards on the play. 2nd and 12.
Empty backfield, strong left side.
4 receivers out to the left.
Fumbled.
Fumble on the play, and it looks like the Wildcats did recover it there. Kenyon on the recovery at the 35-yard line. So
again, Lynn Classical getting a little bit cute here with a big lead late in the first half. As the rain pelts down and just snap, bad play all around for the Classical team. Turns the ball right back over to Wildcats.
So see if the Wildcats can take advantage here, even though they haven't been able to move the ball offensively whatsoever. 3.5 minutes to go in the first half. Marino's still the only back in the backfield with Sullivan. Another high snap. Handoff to Marino, who once again is stuffed for another loss of a yard or 2.
Again, defensive line is in the backfield consistently in this first half. The irony is, I think the best play they ran for the running game was the 2-point conversion that Benoit came on the left side with a sweep, and he got the edge for the 2-point conversion. That was the most outstanding play of the run. Other than that, Marino has absolutely no running room. People in his face.
Marquardt and Benoit are both off the field right now. Christian Robars checks in. Steve Anthony in the far right. It's a direct snap to the running back, I think.
Yep, to Smolinski. Change something up there. Maybe catch him sleeping, catch him napping. Or the conventional offense is not generating any offense, so might as well try to do something unconventional.
Gain of about 2 on the play, still 3rd and 9 for the Wildcats.
Imperative to protect the football here, run clock.
The clock is actually stopped on the field. I don't know if that's it's not kept on the scoreboard. It's kept on the field, but
yeah, I'm baffled by that. Let's see if he runs. Called timeout there.
So Sullivan is alone in the backfield. A lot of yelling down in the field, but we cannot. There's a timeout called by Wilmington.
Yeah.
There's only about, say, 40 or 50 people in the stands. You can hear a lot of the commentary down on the field, but I can't tell where it's coming from. And George, can you get a quick shot of the cheerleaders down below here?
Or the huddled mass of cheerleaders trying to stay warm and dry.
I fully understand why they're like that, because
it is.
There's nobody here in the stands to cheer to.
And
but
it's
I
not really the ideal cheering
for being out
weather
here today.
Nothing like having history buffs up here in the booth with us, Chris. We're going to have to, we got some guest commentators coming on soon. Keep this game moving. Keep you guys entertained at home. We will come up with, it's going to be a second half of tall tales and laughter.
I think in the second half, Mike Esposito and Rick Smallage, Dickie Gillis, they're going to come back and resurrect the Wildcats.
There you go.
Run them on to victory. Sullivan back to pass. An inside screen was set up, but once again falls incomplete.
Once again, a good idea.
Good
idea, poor execution. But again, good idea. They had it's the proper call there. I would expect he'd try to punt here.
I don't know if it's the wet ball that is causing all the high snaps, but 3 out of 4 are coming in high to Andy, and he just doesn't have time to kind of scan the field and set up his play.
So I would expect a punt here.
So Robage is going to be back in punt formation. 2 deep backs for Classical.
Another bad
Sean
snap.
Butler, number 4. This one goes
It's
off to
not
the
even
side,
past
held
the
up
line
by
of
the
scrimmage.
wind. And it's marked out of bounds at the Wildcat 38-yard line, where the Rams take over once again with 2:28 to go in the first half.
First and 10.
That was a classic punt of 3 yards into the wind. Tough to do.
So we won't know next week's opponent until probably Monday or Tuesday of this coming week. We don't know if it'll be a home game or away game, so we'll have to check your local listings for that.
We do know, though, we're going to be going live on Thanksgiving morning from Alumni Stadium. Tewksbury's got to come in here, and we're going to try to pound on them, too.
Ridley inside handoff to the big running back. Another huge hole downfield to the 20. Cuts outside to the 15.
That's a hold.
To the 10, and he's finally knocked down. See if I can pick up a number. Looks like 28.
Malcolm Best on the carry.
Malcolm Best, first time we've called his name here today.
He looks like he's hobbling.
First and goal for the Rams.
So Classical set up again
Trying to punch
inside
one
the
more in.
10-yard line down at the 7. Best still in the game next to Ridley.
Little pitch.
Pitch is off to Durant again, and once again he's in for a touchdown. Make
Good
that
flag, though.
Butler.
That's coming back, holding on the play there.
Okay.
Hold against the Rams. Be a 10-yard penalty. First and goal from the 19-yard line.
So push him back, way back to the 19. And again, a stop here would be nice. Go in the locker room,
Wildcats.
get dry,
Yeah, they haven't been able to stop
something
him
positive.
yet, really, except their own mistakes so far today. It's, I'm sure, frustration on the part of the Wilmington defense. It's going to be first down for the Rams at the 17-yard line. See if they run that play again. Butler in motion, fakes the handoff. Ridley keeps it, and
He's hit
he's
from
actually
behind.
brought down for a short gain.
Ridley tackled after a gain of 1.
Good play by, again, the defensive line with penetration, and then stop that play when they get penetration.
Second and goal from the 17-yard line. Inside handoff again to the scat back, who's got good running room out to the sideline and into
Yeah.
the end zone. A touchdown for Malcolm Best again. Second time he's handled the ball. Second time he's gone for a big gainer.
Again, relatively untouched, too.
36 to 8.
And I guess we're going to see this famous two-point conversion that they've run like 16,000 times today.
Okay, so let's call. You think Dennis Pierce will get it?
I
That's
think
what
he's
you're
going to get
saying,
the
Jim?
ball and going to go to the right side into the end
Okay.
zone untouched.
He's got it. He runs to the right side,
yeah.
and he's in. Well, he did get touched, but it was after he crossed the goal line. So Classical has jumped out to an insurmountable 38-8 lead here, still in the first half at Wilmington High School's Alumni Field, and very disappointing showing by the Wildcats today.
Being completely dominated on both sides of the ball by Lynn Classical in this nor'easter that is just starting to kick up now. Reminds you of that Caddyshack scene where the priest is playing the greatest round of his life. The heavy stuff's coming down for a little bit. So I think we're in good shape.
You know, save some of this for Thanksgiving because Tewksbury's got a good team, all right?
Okay,
So,
I'll work on my material.
all right.
Do you know the joke is that only God can hit a 2-iron. So God can't even hit a 2-iron. So if you're if you're playing golf in weather like this and the thunder and lightning come up, take a 2-iron, hold it up high in the air like that. You know why? Because even God can't hit a 2-iron. I had to set that
The
joke
wind,
up. Sorry.
The wind and the rain continue to pick up here at Alumni Stadium. And once again, we expect an onside squib kick.
Yeah, they're all lined up. This is going to be the special squib kick for Classical.
Kyle Durant once again Oh, the ball is actually teed up in a regular position. So let's see now. I think Mr. Boyle has gone delusional. It's actually a ball that's kicked downfield, end over end, picked up at the 25 to the 30,
Ooh.
hammered down just shy of the 30-yard line.
Not bad, though. That's a real football play
Yeah.
there on the kickoff. The first time we've had a real football play.
Devin Clerico on the return.
Clerico catches it and advances the football. That's amazing.
We're going to show you highlights of the 2016 Patriots Super Bowl victory coming up next at halftime. All right, see what Andy Sullivan can cook up with less than a minute to go in the first half. I'm suspecting we'll keep the ball on the ground.
Hey, Marino
up the middle.
Positive yards. See if they run quick here.
8-yard gain from Marino out to the 36-yard line.
I look across the sidelines. It doesn't look like Lynn Classical has much depth either, so I would imagine we're going to see their number one unit almost exclusively here.
This is one of those 50 or 60-yard gales that's coming across the field now, so let's not even try to pass it.
See if the umbrellas hold up.
Sullivan, hand off to Marino, finds running room down the left side. He's good for a first down outside the 40-yard line to the 42.
And that should probably do it for the half. Wilmington will take it into the half down 38-8. Nope. I can't even see the clock.
And they got 12 seconds
12
left
seconds left
from the look of it here.
They're just going to go in.
And that'll be the end of the first half. So we want to thank you for joining us so far for today's game. At halftime, Lynn Classical Rams hold a 38-8 lead over the Wildcats. We'll be back after this message from the Aligned Credit Union. Join us in a few minutes for the second half of today's action.
WCTV's coverage of Wildcat football this fall is sponsored by Align Credit Union. Not only focused on personal and business banking, Align is a community credit union participating in events throughout the region. Located next to Lucci's and also at aligncu.com. Align Credit Union, connecting all your banking needs.
Okay, folks, we're back for second half action here. Wilmington High School's Alumni Field, the first round game of the Consolation Series. Lynn Classical's out to a 38-8 lead at halftime. Wildcats will be taking the second half kickoff. Jim, your observations on the first half so far?
First half so far was line of scrimmage dominated by Lynn Classical, as you can tell by the score, 38-8. They just were running backs hitting holes, not getting hit going through. Wilmington with a touchdown on a turnover on Venenzia's 45-yard rumble into the end zone. It'll be interesting to see what they come out with here, as the storm is probably still moving through as the rain is coming down sideways and the flag is blowing, twisting up to my right here. They just have to remember there's no 30-point plays in football, and take it one possession at a time and try to win possessions and win the half.
Okay, Devin Clerico back deep for the Wildcats to receive the punt.
It looks like they're going to kick it. Do they have the ball
Medeiros, up? Yep. Into the wind. It is a squib kick taken by number 22, Monaco, the up back. He's fighting for yardage, but taken down at the 30-yard line.
2 for Classical. Big special teams player. That's his second tackle on a kickoff.
First and 10 for the Wildcats.
So Andy Sullivan remains in at quarterback for the Wildcats, who were unable to move the ball offensively at all in the first half. So we'll see if halftime Coach Turner was able to come up with any ideas of any play calling that might get some running room for either Peter Marino in the backfield or give Sullivan time to pass. Hand off to Marino, who dances and is taken down for a loss on the play. Big number 54, Dennis Pierce.
Mr. 2-point conversion there at Pierce. Wilmington going with the wind here in the third quarter. But again, Marino has absolutely no running room as the defensive line of the Classical Rams has been in the backfield constantly all afternoon.
Second and 12 for the Wildcats. Sullivan calls signals. Once again, an inside handoff to Marino, who once again is stopped for a loss of a yard. Hasn't worked all day, and except for maybe the last couple plays of the first half when Classical was playing back off the line of scrimmage. 3rd and 12, a 13 for the Wildcats.
See what they come out with here. Again, that little swing pass has not worked, so I would expect not to see that one. Wouldn't be surprised to see them try to get Kenyon open in space. He's off left. Little short pass coming back to Kenyon, see if he can get space and get the first down. Nope.
Pass is complete to Kenyon on the cross. He's out to the 40-yard line, close to a first down. It's gonna. Looks like it might be.
No, they're gonna give him the first down.
They're gonna give it to him. Wow.
No.
Okay.
No, they didn't. Yeah, they did. That'll keep the clock running. And again, now that play is. If Sullivan can get the ball to him, that play has worked. It did work in the first half.
So you called it as far as getting Kenyon into space. Once he got the ball, he was able to move with it. And once again, Peter Marino is sacked in the backfield. Another loss of 2 yards. That play continues not to work, so maybe Coach Turner's trying to set up something else.
Yeah, they're trying. They're setting up the. They're going to set up the Kenyon little dump pass here.
Steve Smolinski comes in at the running back position.
I think that we should copyright Marino tackled in the backfield today. Again, he's going back to the traditional eye with the fullback.
Fullback, right. Handoff to Marino, and this time he does scamper free for a very short gain. Picks up about 2 yards on the play. Broke through a tackle behind the line of scrimmage. Joe DeMonico comes up a little bit lame, hobbling around. Sorry, Steve Anthony, number 24.
We're just getting completely out physical here. Completely out physical on the line of scrimmage. Let's find, where do we have Kenyon here to the right side, back in the traditional eye again. Smolinski.
Fullback Smolinski takes the handoff. Stopped for a loss of a yard. Going to bring up 4th down for the Wildcats. And
looks like they're going to punt.
Yep, going to punt. Punt the ball away with the wind. Take it while you have it. They've kept the ball on the ground for the most part here in the second half. 7.5 minutes to go, 3rd quarter.
So they did run 4 minutes off the clock. Just about. Let's see what our punt team can do. Last time Robarch punted with the wind in his back, he had like a 45-yard punt.
Butler and Bono deep back for Classical. A nice kick by Benoit. I'm sorry, by Robarch. And way down the sideline continues
Big
Chase
flag
Bono.
Doesn't matter.
Finally, he's still moving.
We had a
the
cheap
Wildcats. You know,
we had a cheap shot back here at the 35-yard line.
It's going to come back.
It's going to be a block in the back.
There's a flag on the play.
Nick Coleman, the offensive center and defensive lineman.
There's another player hurt over on the right side, too. Looks like Wilmington player number. I don't have my binoculars. Should have brought them.
Might be, well, I can't make it out either.
So we don't want to speculate, as the police are now coming on the field. Slowly. Show a sign of force. Make sure
That's
this
Marcelo Mizuraca.
up.
He's only a freshman. He's seen some pretty good action so far this year, but he got taken down. So the kick return comes way back. Spot of the penalty, I think, was the 37-yard line.
Yep.
It's going to come back at least 10 yards from there for the block in the back. And once again, even though the penalty probably sprang the ball carrier, Once again, the Wildcats are unable to take down some of these big running backs for the Lynn Classical Rams.
Was that a personal foul call?
I guess it was just blocking the
That's what it had to be. Only 10 yards, right?
So Ridley is in the backfield, calling signals.
the guy kept I think there was no mechanics on it.
Goes back to pass, lets it go deep downfield. Man is wide open. Number 4, Butler catches the ball at the 42-yard line, taken down immediately by Peter Marino.
Sean Butler, first man.
Nashawn Butler had some good open field.
Christian Robar's on the defense of that. Got a little bit caught up tight.
So a big gain for the Rams, brings it down to the Wildcat 40-yard line.
Inside handoff.
And off to Tucker.
Rams are going to show no mercy, it looks like, on the Wildcats here.
Tucker tackled by Patrick McAndrew. No gain.
Malcolm Best checks into the backfield for the Rams, and he ran for 2 big gains in the first half, including a touchdown run. Very elusive from the backfield. Once again, the handoff is the Best. He breaks through the first tackle. He's good out to the 30-yard line, keeps going. He's knocked out of bounds at the 35-yard line. Taken down by Jordan Olatalo.
It's good for a Ram first down. Tackled by Wilmington's number 1, Jordan Olatalo.
So another big gain by Lynn Classical.
Yeah, somebody got a hand on him in the backfield. It was just a hand on a tackle, so he did break that. That was the first touch. And then good tackle at the end of the play. Jordan was a good tackle.
Hand off to Buono up the middle. He's taken down after short gain, 2 or 3 yards.
Oh, no carries for gain of 3. Tackled by McAndrew. 2nd and 7 for the Rams.
Do you think Bono's nickname is Sonny?
Da-da, da-da.
Chase and Chance Bono, twin brothers. One goes to
Second and
English and
7.
one goes to classical.
Low snap, inside handoff to Best. He's taken down for a loss of a couple of yards.
In the backfield. The 3rd down and 9.
Going to bring up 3rd and 9 for the Rams.
Big opportunity for a stop here for the Wildcats. Defense.
Two backs in the backfield. Marcus Tucker, number 5. Another low snap.
Kenyon with
Pressure's
the
on,
sack.
and Kenyon flattens Ridley in the backfield at 30-yard line for a sack. Loss of 6 yards.
I can guarantee you one thing, Chris. They're not going to try to kick a field goal here.
Not into the wind.
I don't think they have anybody who
I
can
think,
kick.
yeah.
Sacked in the backfield by Kyle Kenyon.
So no other choices, actually, except for Classical to go for it. Ridley again with two in the backfield. Best and Tucker. 2 wide receivers split to the right. 4th and 15. Back to pass.
He's got him
Ball's
open.
deep downfield.
Just overthrew.
Intended for Nashawn Butler. Falls incomplete. Thrown over his head. The Wildcats will take over on downs at their own 30-yard line.
Good defense by number 1 Jordan Olatolo. Is that how you say his
Yes,
last name? A
Olatolo.
good defense. The only place he could throw that ball was up over to his left. And he stayed with his man and turned the ball over on downs.
Down to 3:51 to go in the 3rd quarter. Wildcats can't come back out. Looking for some positive mobility here while they have the wind.
Back to the spread offense.
Sullivan fumbles the snap, falls on the ball at the 25 for loss of 5 yards. So nothing they're doing today seems to be working offensively.
A lot of negative plays offensively. See if they go under center, more traditional.
Robards checks in.
And Marquardt's going to check back in.
He
It's back to the spread. What do they think?
Robarge spread wide to the right. Can't tell who's on the far sideline.
That's Marquard's on the far sideline.
Kenyon in motion, sets up in the right slot. Hand off to the left to Marino, who brings it out 3 yards where he stopped, just shy of the 30.
Just seem to be white shirts everywhere today.
Third and 11.
Somebody's.
I think we got maybe a couple of helmets locked together. We got 2 kids not moving too much, so and I don't think
Can't tell.
anybody's injured.
Yep, they did.
Yeah. A brief timeout on the field. Once again, as Jim mentioned earlier, Thanksgiving Day this year is at Wilmington High School, 10 o'clock Thanksgiving Day morning. Wildcats will be hosting, as usual, their arch rival Tewksbury Redmen. Redmen are having a good season so far this year. Typically well coached by Coach Elwood. And if they continue their current run, wouldn't be surprised to see them in a Super Bowl again this year.
And Sullivan on the sidelines now. He's over here by the bench. There's also got Stephen Anthony with an ankle injury, like a foot injury here too.
Tristan Champa comes in at quarterback for the Wildcats. Passing down, 3rd and 11. Rush is on. He lets the ball downfield. It was going to be intended for Kenyon, but he couldn't quite get into the slant position to get that ball. It's going to bring up 4th down for the Wildcats.
Either thrown to the wrong place or run the wrong route on that one. And with the backup quarterback, my assumption would be probably just threw it to the wrong place.
It looked like Kenyon was having a hard time getting inside. Yep. The defender had inside position on him, and I know after the ball fell incomplete, Kenyon kind of looked around like he couldn't get in there, but
that'll bring a 4th down, right?
4th down and 11 for the Wildcats.
This will probably be an obvious punting down.
Once again, the dangerous Nashawn Butler and Chase Bono back deep for the Rams.
Low snap.
Low
Kick is
snap,
off,
he gets
though.
it away. Down to Butler, who takes it at the 38. Breaks a couple tackles, and he's brought down at the 46-yard line by Jordan Alatalo. Jordan stepped up the last couple of games. He's made some good tackles.
And he's played well the last couple series here too, defensively and on special teams. So a good tackle.
It'll be 1st and 10 for the Rams.
As we run down towards the end of the 3rd quarter. So they're going to move the ball back too. There must have been another flag.
Either a flag or his knee hit the, actually going back quite a ways. This is back well beyond where he fielded the ball. So at the 28-yard line is where the Rams take over.
So either a hold or a block in the back.
3 wide receivers out, split wide to the left for the Rams. Back to pass to the right. It's incomplete. Tended over there for Maurice Sequeira.
Coverage by Robarge.
Looks like Christian over on the far side there. 2nd and 10.
Some help from Smolinski as they come strong side, 3 wide receivers, strong side. Inside handoff.
Good defensive stop there for the Wildcats. Still can't get him down, but took about 6 of them. Marcus
Another flag.
Tucker on the carry.
Penalty.
It's going to be.
This one looks like it's going to get marched off
That's
against
what it looks like.
Well,
It's going to be against our friends from Lynn Classical.
dead ball play. So I think that was after the play was called dead.
Unsportsmanlike conduct.
Another 10 yards.
I don't think the ref's mic's working anymore. In the weather, we've lost the ref's mic, so we don't have to call us. That should be like half the distance then. So now it's third and a short 25.
From the
I'm guessing.
14-yard line.
Actually 22.
Okay, Ridley pitches back to Bono. Nope, that's
There's a
Tucker.
hold coming here too. As the quarter runs down.
Tucker thrown out of bounds at the
Flag on the play.
17, 18-yard line, but another penalty against Classical. There's no time showing on the scoreboard clock.
This has been an interesting offensive series for Lynn Classical. They just decided to go backwards.
Holding is declined.
Fourth down after the break
So
between the
technically, I think the ball should come out to about the 24-yard line, but that is the end of the third quarter. Once again, we'll have a quick word from our sponsor, Align Credit Union. Thank you for supporting Wilmington Community Television and Wildcat Football. We'll be back with the fourth quarter of today's action right after this.
WCTV's coverage of Wildcat football this fall is sponsored by Align Credit Union. Not only focused on personal and business banking, Align is a community credit union participating in events throughout the region. Located next to Lucci's and also at aligncu.com. Align Credit Union, connecting all your banking needs.
Okay, well, we're back live. Well, no, you're not live. We're live.
We are still alive, Chris.
It's fourth quarter action here. Wilmington High's Alumni Stadium. Classical is back to punt, 4th and 25.
They let the clock run down so they could punt with the wind. Bad
Another
snap.
bad snap.
It's trouble.
And
And he's going to run for hopefully not a first down.
so
Play.
the punter did a nice job bringing the ball back out to the 14-yard line where he was brought down by a host of Wildcat tacklers.
Tackled by the Wildcats will take over 1st and 10.
So Wildcats take over in great field position, just the 15-yard line.
The best field position of the game for the Wildcat offense.
Let's see if they can conjure up some kind of offense here and get the ball moving. Looks like
Still going to need 4 touchdowns, so they're going to come back here.
Tristan Champer is still back in at the quarterback position for the Wildcats. Marino in the backfield with him.
Inside
And
hand.
Marino once again is stuffed in the backfield of the gain of the loss of another 3 yards.
I will have to say that play has not worked all day. Inside handoff, Marino. The defensive line of Classical has been in the backfield all afternoon. Tackled for a loss in the backfield. Pete Marino has been the most prevalent call in the game today.
So the Wildcats are going into the wind, into the rain, and into the teeth of a very tough defense. So 2nd and 13.
The 3 pillars of doom.
And we tried it again, and once again there are 3 tacklers on Peter Marino as he gets the ball for another loss. Sets him back another 4 yards. I guess if you don't have any more of a running game, Jim, and you're afraid to throw into the wind because it's so blustery out here,
You're in trouble.
You don't have a lot of options. So maybe it's just a case of letting the clock continue to run down. 9:23 to go in the game. Classical has a 38-8 lead. Champa comes to the sideline, gets a play from Coach Turner. Certainly 4 down territory in here. Benoit and Robarge split out wide to the left. Fakes the handoff, and it's a pass that falls incomplete, intended for Kyle Kenyon.
That wouldn't have picked up many yards as well.
Champa was knocked down on the play. Wildcats will be going for it on 4th and 19 at the 22-yard line.
So they picked the ball up on the turnover at the 15-yard line and have proceeded to go backwards on this possession. Time for the little razzle-dazzle play here.
I guess the one thing to be looking at it from the positive side today, Jim, it's not snowing. So
That's correct. If it was snowing, it would be really. It'd probably be more fun if it was snowing, because we wouldn't be able to see the yard markers.
that's
and
true,
stuff.
yeah.
You'd have to guess.
And what was the name of Henderson, right? Had the
Yep.
tractor for the Patriots game in '86, I
Yep.
think. Champa hands off inside to Marino. On 4th down, the clock continues to tick. It's 8:25 to go.
It's getting a little chippy out there, too, now.
Wildcats turn the ball over on 4th down, so Classical takes it over again.
Will take over 1st and 10.
Well, it's just a matter of winding down the clock and looks like we're going to have a quarterback change.
Danny Gisono is a junior quarterback. Number 12 comes in. Shotgun formation.
This kid's got a rifle arm, I'll bet. He's throwing deep. That's true.
Okay, so we got 2 wide receivers to the right. Number 34, P.J. Tucker, sophomore running back, is in at the slot position. And number 28, Malcolm Best, comes back in, who's found one hole after another, but this time he stopped in the backfield for a loss of 2 yards.
Best on the carry.
The interior of the Wilmington defensive line collapsed on him as he went through.
This will be a good opportunity to see how we can handle this, the backup quarterback.
So Gisono, calling signals, stands at his own 16-yard line. Another inside handoff to Best, who stopped for no gain, thrown back for loss.
Best back in the backfield.
Loss of another yard on the play. 3rd and 12 for the Rams. 7 minutes to go in the game. Coach Vaughn of Classical is rotating
Snap.
players in and out. Ball is intended
Marino,
downfield.
nice play.
Nice play by Peter Marino in the backfield to break up the pass intended for Deshaun Butler down by midfield.
4th and 12.
Nice ball though, throwing
Yeah.
the win. The backup quarterback with a nice ball. It was right on spot, and Marino with good defensive play gets his hand up in time to knock it away.
So the Wildcats have a good stand on 3rd down, brings up 4th down and 12 for Classical, and they'll be punting the ball away once it gets back into the field of play here. Deshaun Butler stands back in punt formation, and once again, I can't tell if it's
I can't tell.
Clerico. No,
It's a single digit.
Connor Benoit has to be number 9. Can't see it from here, but here comes the punt by Butler. A high snap. He gets the ball away, end over end, taken by Benoit at the 46. He returns it back to the Rams side of the midfield point to the 47-yard line, where the Wildcats will take over. 6:12 to go in the game, 38-8.
Good play by Connor Benoit there, at least catching the ball. And then once he caught it, he picked up about 5 or 6 additional yards. So he lets that ball go. It could roll for another 15, 20 yards. So, again, special teams play there was executed very well.
Wildcats have had some chances here in the second half. They've been able to hold Classical to 8 points, but nothing to show for it on the offensive side of the ball. So see if they can drum up a little bit of offense as the game winds down for the last 6 minutes. Champer in a quarterback. Keeps the ball, sprints to the left, gains actually no gain. He's taken down.
Again, another, not to be picky on a rainy day like that, but go north-south, not east-west. He would have picked up 3 or 4 more yards if he just kept going forward. Just keep running north-south.
2nd and 10 for the Wildcats. Once again, going into the wind, so any passing is suspect. Some folks might have been wondering why we played the game today. The girls had a field hockey game scheduled here last night, so the game could not be scheduled there. Champ is taken down in the backfield again after a fake handoff to Marino, and once again, 2 or 3 defensive linemen for the Rams are in on the play.
Continuing to blow up the offensive line of the Wildcats. Be interesting to see the final stats here, what the positive plays were on offense. versus negative plays.
Well, I think overall for the day, I wouldn't be surprised if the Wildcats have negative yardage. This has been a completely defensive stomping on the part of Lynn Classical against the Wildcats today. 3rd and 13 for the Wildcats. Ciampa, handoff to Marino, finds no running room, taken down again in the backfield. Great defensive play by the defensive captain,
who's also
Dennis
their
Pierce.
2-point specialist.
Extraordinary two-point running back specialist. That's right. 4th down for the Wildcats.
I would imagine they're going to go for it.
With 4 minutes to go in the game, nothing to gain, nothing to lose. So, you think it's going to be a pass here, Jim, or do you
I would
anticipate a running play?
I think they're going to pooch punt it into the wind. So we have some comedians up here in the booth with us. Gosh, I'm not sure who's giving me all the fun information back there, but that's not looking good.
And once again, the attempted screen pass falls incomplete. Champ is taken down in the backfield. And the Rams take over at midfield at the Wilmington 49-yard line with 3:38 to go.
I will say the favorite person in the whole stadium right now is the clock keeper. Just trying to run the clock down, 38-8, 3:33 to play. They don't even know that. He ran it. Don't worry about it. I won't tell him.
He's not going to get all upset.
No, he's going to. Do you think they notice it? I'll give you.
Danny Gisono still in at quarterback. 2 other running backs in the backfield with him.
He moved
Pitch
early.
back.
Good
And
block.
23 is Nico Galezi, sophomore running back.
Nally holding the edge over there on the right side.
Brought
Holds
down
him
for no gain. I like that name, Nico Galezi.
He's in the Galezi family of Lynn.
Malcolm Best now in the backfield. Low snap kept by the quarterback, who is
Smolinski.
taken down on the far side. Nice play by Smolinski.
Quarterback keeps it, attack from the backfield. 3rd down.
3rd and 11.
Again, it's I know it was 30-8 at the half, but
I get a 2-minute warning.
8 points for. They score 8 this half.
8, yes.
8, right?
Yep. So 2 minutes to go in the game. It's 3rd down and 11. Best comes out.
Deep down in the roster we go today.
Miles Iona. I think I asked before the game how to pronounce his name, and they said don't worry about it. He wasn't going to get in. Well, he did. He didn't carry the ball.
Quarterback on the keeper.
Here on 4th down.
Gisono ran the ball, taken down after a gain of about 2.5 yards, so it's going to be 4th down and 9 for Classical.
So as long as we don't get a timeout called here, this game is almost effectively over.
Jim, would you say that if you were going to draw an analogy, you could say that today Classical gassed the Wildcats? You get it?
Yes.
Okay.
That's
Just coming up with some new material with a minute to go in the game. Galezi back in the backfield. And Miles Ione.
I think they're going to knee. I think they're going to take a
Ione.
knee here, and then we're going to call timeout.
That's
There we
exactly
go.
what's going to happen.
He's conceded. He's conceded a 38-8 score.
Danny Gisono downs the ball. There may be one play left, but the way the Classical players are leaving the field, I'm thinking this might be it.
Yeah, you too. Hey, guys.
The final here from
So,
Lynn Classical 38.
as the clock winds down, the final seconds, the game has ended. The game has been conceded. The wind is picked up. The rain is going left to right. The final score here at Wilmington High School in Classical 38. Holy mackerel.
It got worse.
And the Wilmington Wildcats 8. Thanks for joining us for today's game here at the high school on WCTV. Once again, we'll at least be back for the Thanksgiving Day game, Thanksgiving Day morning. I'm not sure yet if that'll be a live game or not. We'll work that out with the athletic department. But for Jim Boyle, George Breslin, Adam Dusenberry, our producer director, I am Chris Neville. Thanks for joining us for today's game at Wilmington High School. The final score, Lynn Classical 38, Wilmington 8. Join us next time. Thank you.